Greetings! In this section of our presentation, we would like to share with you some information that will help us to understand youth gang formation from family systems and sociological perspectives. With me today are two rival gang members, Phil, the original gangster of the Flamingos, and Puffy D, representing the Magic Dragons. Although they are rivals on the street, they have agreed to participate with our group in an effort to show solidarity on this contentious topic. Thank you both for being here. Research has shown us that gangs operate similarly to families. This is from Rubel and Turner in 2000. Did you guys know that? Rubel and Turner state that street gangs usually exhibit a highly complex organization, structure, process, and functionality where all of these aspects intertwine with and around the gang to form a web of interconnectedness and continuity. The same research suggests that similar to families, youth gangs address and potentially fulfill members' needs for identity, cohesion, self-esteem, a sense of belonging, and a mutual support to make sense of the challenges associated with this life. Rubel and Turner have identified and defined three different gang formations: the social gang, the delinquent gang, and the violent gang. The social gang serves as a more casual network and does not typically engage in violence unless under extreme threat from another gang. The delinquent gang is, according to the authors, structurally cohesive and is often organized around the pursuit of monetary gain derived from illegal activities. The authors continue, gang survival is dependent upon each member's precise execution of their assignment and the provision of backup support when necessary. The accomplishment of these group enterprises may be viewed by gang members as their method of getting ahead in the world. The third type, the violent gang, is perhaps the most noted by popular media and raises the most concern within communities. Rubel and Turner describe the purpose of this gang as obtaining the power and associated emotional gratification that violent activities can bring to youths. These gangs tend to have a highly structured hierarchy of leaders and followers. How are we doing so far, guys? Doing okay? Okay, does this stuff make sense to you? All right, well, let me know if there's anything that I'm saying that you feel that you need to correct, okay? Okay, so these same researchers have also talked about the demographics of youth gangs, namely age, gender, and ethnicity. They report that the average age for gang involvement is between 14 and 24 years old, but some members are as young as 8. Typically, the very young are used to run drugs because they're expendable. So if they're caught, they would probably get off without any charges. You agree? Regarding gender, the majority of members are male, and female members are typically used to carry weapons, provide alibis, act as spies and lures, and provide sex for male members. This is from Winfrey et al. From 1994, and Rubin and Turner cite this. And I think that this last quote is a generalization, and I suspect that there's research that would address girls and gangs from a more appropriate feminist perspective. Okay, so we'll carry on. Ethnicity within gangs is widely researched and will be explored further in this presentation. Rubel and Turner cited Clark, who discusses the overrepresentation of minority populations within gangs, and that most gangs tend to be racially exclusive. White, from 2008, suggests that ethnicity plays an integral part in social being, and which encapsulates consciousness of self and the ways in which one negotiates everyday life, and thus is very much entwined with ethnic background as well as class and gender. So we're talking about families, systems, and gangs, right? and the assumption that a gang is a family and a system. Does this make sense? Okay, I'll try to simplify this whole thing for you guys, okay? Now, from Rubel and Turner's research, gangs are likened to families in that they are hierarchical, okay? With the leaders being parents and more subordinate members, their children. As well, the gang can provide members with affection, understanding, recognition, loyalty, and emotional and physical protection that they may not receive elsewhere. Gangs have their own internal systems of boundaries that regulate membership and information in the gang. They also have their own language, like hand signs, or in this case, mouth signs, and dress code in order to identify themselves to other gangs and to the community. These authors state that, like families, each member of the gang affects and is affected by other members and by the context of which they operate. In line with systems thinking, street gangs are fundamentally comparative to family systems, according to the authors. Okay, so hang on, there's just a little bit more, okay? Now, White says that people make sense of their lives in complicated ways. We're all part of wider family and communities than simply those of our immediate friends and colleagues. Then the author goes on to describe how gangs function within and as part of the community, just like anyone else. So, you know, you're special and you're part of the community. There are frequently close ties between gang members and other members of their community, whether through family, religious, or cultural linkages. So this is quoting directly from White from 2007. Gang members do not simply and solely engage in criminal activities, but in a wide range of conventional activities that bring themselves in close contact with other people in local communities. Gang membership, however loosely defined, may be a continuous feature of some communities and thus have a measure of traditional legitimacy attached to it, like the mafia maybe in Sicily? I don't know. Gang-related activity may tap into underground or criminal economies that are on the whole beneficial to many ordinary residences in poor working class neighborhoods, like biker gangs that own businesses and residences, giving people working opportunities and housing options. It's interesting. Gang membership may be viewed by adult members of a community as an important way to protect each other and to maintain a particular social identity important to the community as a whole, a visible expression of ethnic pride and strength. So here's the deal, guys. Ultimately, defining youth gang formation from any perspective is challenging because, like White says, young lives are multi-layered and complex, and the identities young people attach to themselves is fluid and affected by myriad factors, both micro and macro. Yeah, I know, micro, macro. Just hang on. Gang intervention strategies might fall short due to the lens with which they view youth through. If interventions are focused on the violence and criminal activities within youth gangs, the message is received by youth that they are violent criminals and can become entrenched in that identity. You agree? Yeah. Rubel and Turner state that to better understand street gangs and provide effective intervention plans, they must be viewed from a systematic and holistic perspective. So that concludes this portion of our presentation, and I want to thank you both again very, very much for being here, and take care of yourselves. And I want to thank you for watching. Our presentation will continue with Jen and her research on Aboriginal youth and gangs.